This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and today is my special guest. We have none other than former WWE and WCW superstar Curtis Hughes, Mr. Hughes, the Big Cats, so many names, but you got some pretty cool rings. Could you show us the rings?
Yeah, buddy, there they go. See? Yeah, had them made a couple years ago. From this jeweler in Atlanta. I always wanted to get some WCW and WWF rings. I was gonna get a AWA necklace made, but that was a little more complicated to make. So I'd have to pick a lot of green beans, if I wanted to, and take a lot of bumps if I wanted to get one of those. So I deal with these two. I'm happy with these two. He did a great job on them. Those are the two main companies anyway. But
So when you're punching people in the face, they
yeah,
have those marks on them after now.
pretty much. You better believe it. You better believe it.
So I understand you were an athlete before you got into wrestling. Could you tell us a little bit about your athletic background?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, back when I was a young person in grade school, I wanted to become an athlete. So I'd asked one of my older brothers to show me how to do some push-ups. I was a kind of a heavy-set kid, kind of soft around the edges there. And we were in Chicago one day visiting my father. He used to live there. Lord rest his soul. He went on to glory now. But when we were little, and my brothers, a couple of my older brothers were athletes already. And they were, doing working out a little bit and doing push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups and all of that. And so I was like ready to get into that to harden up my body a little bit, and I asked my brother Preacher, his name's Deotis, but his nickname's Preacher. He was very athletic. He was a running back in school. But anyway, I asked him, I said, yo, Preacher, man, show me how to do some push-ups. Show me how to do some pull-ups. I'm trying to, look like y'all. And he showed me how. And long story short, as time went on, when I got to junior high, I really got in the gym and started hitting the weights, and then decided to be a amateur wrestler. I was a 3-sport All-American, by the way. I did wrestling, track, and football. And my 7th grade year, I went out for the football team, but they said I was too young, so I had to wait I had to wait to be an 8th grader to play football. But I amateur wrestled and I did track. And so that's pretty much when my athletic career started, when I was like in the 6th grade. And thank God for my brother that showed me how to get started on how to do push-ups and pull-ups, and so I could feel the muscles starting to get blood flowing through them. I didn't know nothing about that back then, but here we are today, man, and I'm glad he showed me the ropes on that end.
So how far did you get in your football career before you moved on to wrestling?
Well, I went to when I was in high school, I was a 3-sport All-American. And I was highly recruited. I was a blue chipper. I was a parade All-American. I was an Adidas All-American, McDonald All-American. In football, played offense and defense, nose guard and on defense, and tackle on offense. And I was highly recruited by all the major colleges. Decided to go to Kansas State University after having 5 visits to all the different schools. They give you 5 visits, so I went to 5 of the major schools and ended up going to K-State one weekend, and I almost went to Iowa. Ended up going to K-State and, played there for 3.5 years. When I was in K-State, I always knew in the back of my mind I wanted to be a professional wrestler when I was a little bitty fella. And so when I was in high school, I told you I was highly recruited. And Oklahoma was interested in me, K-State, all the schools. But anyway, this particular visit, I went to K-State one weekend, and they were playing Oklahoma. And Steve Dr. Death Williams was a guard at the time playing at Oklahoma, and he was a wrestler too. And I was like, I'm going to go to that game so I can talk to Steve Williams about the wrestling business, right? And so I decided to go take my visit the weekend that they were playing Oklahoma so I can talk to Steve Williams. Well, the time came. K-State was playing Oklahoma. I got there, was on the field, went down. They were on the other end stretching and everything. So I went down. I said, here's my opportunity. Let me go down here and try to talk to Steve Williams about the business, man. Here's my opportunity. So I moseyed on down to the end zone where they were working on their plays, the offense was, and I'm standing off in the back of the end zone. I said, hey, Steve, how you doing, man? Steve, I'm Curtis Hughes. I'm a recruit, and I'm here for this weekend, but I'll be going to Oklahoma next weekend for my visit for Oklahoma. And I was interested in becoming a professional wrestler. He goes, where are you from, kid? I said, I'm from Kansas City. He goes, oh, okay. There's a guy in Kansas City named Bob Geigel. That's a perfect spot for you. Look him up. He says, look up Bob Geigel. And so, long story short, I signed at K-State, ended up going there. I played and did great. And then right before I finished, I ordered my gear. I hadn't called Geigel yet. I hadn't called anybody yet about who's going to train me or anything. And I ordered my gear. I ordered my boots, my tights, whatever I was going to wear. They were red patent leather boots and red tights. Back then, K&H made everything, so everything looked legit compared to today. Everybody wears kick pads, which I don't understand. It's kind of stupid, you ask me. They need to go back to old school so we can save the business. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I ordered my gear. I finished college, and then I pursued Bob Geigel. I knew exactly what the office was because they used to advertise it during the shows when they did shows every Thursday night, 910 Pennsylvania and Kansas City, Missouri. So I knew exactly what he was talking about. It was right over the bridge in Missouri. So one day I called. I found the number, called the office, and I told him who I was. Well, I was on TV all the time in the news when I was in high school because I was a great athlete. I was always on the news. And when I called him, I was recruited by Iowa too, by the way. And he went to Iowa. Bob Geigel went to Iowa, and because he wrestled there. But I didn't know that he was following my career. He followed me in high school. So when I called him, he already knew who the hell I was once I told him my name. He goes, oh, yeah, Curtis Hughes. I know. How you doing, buddy? I know who you are. Great athlete. What can I do for you? And I was like, yeah, finishing in college, and I always wanted to be in the wrestling business. And I talked to Steve Dr. Death Williams, and he told me to look you up, give you a holler, and so forth and so on. And that's what I did. Well, we talked a little while, and he goes, meet me on such and such a day at Memorial Hall. Now, Memorial Hall, everybody knows where Memorial Hall is. That's where all the great matches used to happen back in the day. I mean, anybody that you know that was a big-time wrestler went through Kansas City. From Ric Flair to Andre the Giant, the Funk's brothers, all of them, everybody. Kevin Sullivan, Ken, everybody. Rufus R. Jones, I'm talking about Harley Race, the whole crew went through Kansas City. And so when he told me to meet him there, because I'd never been in the dressing room, I always wanted to go in the dressing room in Memorial Hall just to see what the wrestlers were, just to see how the setup was, see. And so I went there and we talked, and he did not say anything about no money. As far as, because I was going to ask him, I was like, so how much is this going to cost me to be trained by you? He goes, well, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're just going to get you started. And that's pretty much how I got started in the business, is with Bob Geigel. He didn't charge me a dime to be a wrestler. And athlete-wise, my brother helped me out too.
So what got you interested in wrestling to make you want to become a wrestler?
Well, when I was a little bitty fella, my dad used to watch it. In our household, Thursday night was the night we got around the TV and we watched wrestling because my dad was a big wrestling fan. And he used to go. He used to take my brother, my two older brothers, to Memorial Hall and watch the shows live. We used to have to sit home and watch them on television. There was 11 of us. Well, not then. There was about 7 of us then. But we had to watch it at home on TV where he'd take my brothers and him. They would go watch it live. And so I remember watching it, and I got bit early, man. I mean, when I was young, I was like, man, I want to do that. I'll tell you the one thing that got me interested in wrestling is when I saw Harley race and Rufus R. Jones go at it. They had an angle going. And this was the best angle I ever seen. These guys got color. I mean, they used to go at it. I'm talking, they used to go at it. And it looked believable. And so when I used to watch those two, that is what made me say, I want to do that. I want to be a freaking wrestler. When I was watching those back in those days, wrestling was much better. Guys would work for an hour, work holds, spot, work a hold, counter, spot, work a hold. Wasn't a bunch of nothing going on. They just they took their time, and they can go 60 minutes to an hour, and it wouldn't be boring at all. It would be so entertaining, that 60 minutes. And so when I was watching that stuff, man, that stuff really grabbed a hold of my soul. And so I was like, man, I want to be a wrestler. And that's what made me want to be a wrestler, is watching those guys, Harley Race and Rufus R. Jones, go at it. That's what made me want to be a wrestler.
As far as your training, were they open with you right away that it was a work, or was that something that they waited a while to tell you?
Well, back in the old days, it was a little different than it is now. They had to make sure that if you just wasn't there just to figure out how the business was. So they got you in there. They put somebody in there with you to either tater you or make it a little stiff to see if you would not come back. See, that's how they did it. And so if you came back over and over and over, that let them further know that, hey, you really want to do this. And that's how it was. Once, I'd say after the third week of training, that's when things started getting to the point to where they were smartening us up. Okay. But the first few weeks, guys were, leaving like, bad news. I mean, they just couldn't hack it because he was trying to wean them out. Because, back then it was so sacred to protect the business. Instead of everybody and their mama want to be a wrestler these days, and their buddies and everybody else want to show them how to do this stuff, and it's killing the business. Well, back then it wasn't like that. They had to make sure this is what you want to do. And if it's not what you want to do, they was going to make sure you would not come back, because they were going to tater you in some kind of way. Okay, either scare you or put a hold on you and cinch up on it. See, that's how it was back in those days. And so once they realized that you wanted to be a wrestler and you put up with the stuff and you were there every day, you went through everything they showed you, you went through all the bull crap they showed you, they realized you wanted to be a wrestler. And so they pretty much opened up and told you everything you needed to know. But here's the important thing. Sonny Myers had a part in training me too. Him and Bob Geigo switched off back and forth. But they sit you down and they pretty much say, look, this is how the business is. They taught you about kayfabe. Don't you tell anyone about the business. I don't care if it's your mama. Don't you tell them it's a work. Because if you do, you're going to kill the business. That's what they used to tell us back in those days. And we did not tell anybody. Kayfabe was like taking it to the dirt, man. You don't tell nobody about the game at all. You didn't ride with the guy you're going to work with. And if you did, you had to kayfabe your head so nobody would recognize who you are. Nowadays, guys have a show down the street, working each other, leave out the back door, get in the same car, didn't have no covering on, didn't have no towel over their head, and the fans see you riding off together into the sunset. Kills the business. I don't care if it's 2021. I'm old school to the dirt. If guys don't start getting back to kayfabe, people are not going to go watch and buy a ticket, period.
Could you tell us about the first time you met Harley Race in person? Because I imagine it would have been in that Central States territory.
Yes, sir. Yep, I can remember meeting Harley Race one time in Memorial Hall. Now, I remember when I was in high school, this is why I went to college. I used to go buy my own, I'd work and I'd buy me a wrestling ticket and I'd go and I'd hang out by the freaking stage and just look at the guys when they come out, just look at the wrestlers. And I can remember, Bob Geigel and Sonny Myers and Pat O'Connor, Bulldog Bob Brown, Andre the Giant, Harley Race. I mean, I can go on and on. These guys were there. And there was a lot more. But I used to watch these cats go in and out the dressing room, man. It was amazing. And then I used to watch Harley Race. Like I said, he is the reason why I became a professional wrestler. Harley Race and Rufus R. Jones are the reason why you see Mr. Hughes today wrestling, because those guys are the ones that inspired me to want to be a wrestler. And so once I got trained by Sonny and Bob Geigel, Harley Race at the time was in WWF, but he used to come back and forth to Kansas City when we did shows, see? And so he would come to Kansas City to Memorial Hall sometimes when we're training, and he'd get up in there and he'd show us some stuff. And so that's how, I got to meet Harley Race the first time. And so once I got trained and started doing shows at Memorial Hall, then Geigel would book me to work Harley Race on a road show somewhere, where I'd ride with Harley and we'd go to a show and I'd work with him on an off and on basis. He'd leave, go to WWF, come back, go to WWF, come back, right? And so when I had my first match with this guy, we riding down the freaking highway to this gig and I'm freaking in heaven, man. I'm going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm sitting right next to this guy that I used to watch when I was a little bitty fella, who inspired me to want to do this stuff. He's sitting right next to me, right? And we riding down the highway talking about the match. And basically, he's telling me, teaching me. And I thank God that I had an opportunity to learn from these old timers, man, because I'm telling you, we're going to get to what I'm getting ready to tell you in a minute about my training students that's all over the freaking world and all the companies, major companies that's making a living at this stuff. Because without the knowledge from Geigel, Sonny Myers, Rufus R. Jones, and Harley Race, you wouldn't be seeing Mr. Hughes today, I guarantee you.
How did you find that Central States territory? Because a lot of wrestlers did not like the payoffs, but I guess if it's your first territory, you're probably just happy to be in the business.
Well, like I said, Memorial Hall, I'm from Kansas, okay? And Kansas from my house, Memorial Hall from my house, was like a couple of miles away. It wasn't that far. It was downtown Kansas City, Kansas. That's where Memorial Hall was. And that's where once I got hooked up with Bob Geigel, that's where we had to go train, see? And so I already knew where the building was, right? And so once I got a hold of Geigel, and he said, hey, come to Memorial Hall, I knew exactly where he was talking about coming. See? And so that spot is where it all began for me in Kansas City, Memorial Hall. It was right up the street. That was an easy spot right there. You know what I'm saying?
And how did you end up in the AWA from there? Did you send them a tape or did they recruit you?
Well, what happened was, like I said, Geigel was the head of the NWA back then. And him and Vern, they were pretty tight. He was a promoter. Vern was a promoter. It was an old school promoter. So Vern Gagne he was the AWA owner, and he had his own territory, see, and they're on ESPN back then, and so him and Geiger used to talk all the time, see, and so once I got trained and started doing my shows with Geiger, TV tapings and everything, and started getting my craft down, learning how to work and all. I was doing drop kicks and things for a big guy, so Geiger liked that, and so I guess he called Vern and told Vern about me. He said, "Hey, I got this black kid up here, and he just like Rufus R. Jones, he does the shucking and jiving type of thing, and back then that's what they liked. See, they liked that kind of stuff from a black guy, and so I kind of was like." Rufus kind of gave me the baton, and I was just kept on running with it. See, and so Geigel, like I said, called Vern and got the hookup. And next thing you know, Geigel says, "Hey, I need you to go to Minnesota. I got you a gig with AWA." I'm going like, AWA? Oh man! I remember seeing them on TV. Sarge was there. I mean, it was quite, Zabisco was there. Colonel De Beers was there. A lot of people were there. That I really enjoyed, and so I went there, and Vern liked what I did. I guess Geiger must have sent him a tape, and he saw me doing my thing, drop kicks and what have you, taking big bumps as a big guy, and so. Once I got to Minnesota and found Vern, shook his hand, "Hey, how you doing? Geiger sent me here, blase, blase." He goes, "Great. We're going to do some stuff with you, kid. You look great. We're going to try to do a Rufus gimmick, Rufus R. Jones gimmick, do the dancing, come out there, do the shucking and jive and whatever, babyface stuff, hey, whatever. And that's what I did. And that's how I got my shot at AWA. Bob Geiger called Vern, and they talked about it, and that's how I got going down that way.
And how did you like working there overall? I know that was kind of in the dying days of it.
Yeah,
but
it was.
Any good
I loved it,
memories?
man. I loved it. It was awesome, because it was ESPN. They had a contract with ESPN, right? And they call them ESPN Classics now. But at the time, it was my first major TV deal. I was making $150 for the taping for that day, but I was getting exposure. See, ESPN was huge. So when they came on prime time, like it's like 3:00 in the afternoon, that's what time needs to come on. So I was getting exposure, and I was out there doing my thing. I was showing them Big Cat, see, and the more I did that, I guess WCW was checking it out, and then they come a calling. See, that's what happened with that deal.
Who was it that contacted you from WCW?
Jody Hamilton, Big Jody. Jody Hamilton called me and said, we like what we see. Ole wants to do some business with you, Ole Anderson. And they asked me, it was kind of funny, actually. They had called me and they said, "Hey, how you doing? This is Jody Hamilton. I'm calling for Ole." And I said, "Yeah, we checked you out on ESPN and we like what you do and we're interested in doing some business with you. How much would you charge to come down to Atlanta and work an angle with Lex Luger?" Because we had the same finish, torture rack. When I was in AWA, we had the torture rack, same finish, torture rack. I didn't know it at the time, but we did. And so they said, "Yeah, we want to bring you down and run an angle with you and Luger all over the country doing torture rack matches. How much you think you charge to come down and do a, nightly deal and work with us?" Hell, I didn't know what to tell them because I was only making $150 a day over here at freaking the TV tape at ESPN. So I didn't want to undersell myself. So I'm sitting there waiting for him to tell me a number, see? So I'm sitting there going, then he threw out a number, right? He said, "Well, how about we give you $300 a night?" I said, "Okay." That was a no-brainer. Hell, I ain't never made that kind of bread in one night. I said, "Sure, okay, yeah, I'll take it." that'd be the deal. All right, we'll get everything set up, get your plane ticket ready, and all the information, give it to the secretary. I did that, and next thing you know, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, going around the country doing torture act matches.
Yeah, because I remember you as Lex Luger's bodyguard. How did that transition happen?
Yep. Well, what happened with that was I was Big Cat at first. You know, I came in to WCW from AWA as Curse the Cat Hughes, and then Ole, he was the booker at the time. He wanted to keep the gimmick going, so instead of me calling me Curse the Cat, they just said Big Cat, which was fine. You know, wore the furry thing and had the red boots and the blue red tights and everything, and I did my little gimmick. And then after that year, Ole lost the book, and they brought in Dusty. See. And then Dusty Rhodes got the book. And so Dusty, he was great at taking guys that were jobbers and turning them into stars, give them a character and give them a push and make them somebody like he did Johnny B. Bad and a couple other people. Well, he came to me, and he used to call me LT, you know, Lawrence Taylor. He goes, hey, you know, you look like Lawrence Taylor a little bit. I'm going to just call you LT. And he used to call me LT till he went to the dirt. Every time I saw him, hey, LT, what's up? Anyway, he came to me and he goes, hey, Cat, LT, I think I have a better gimmick for you if you want to try it. All right, ears wide open. He goes, you familiar with Big Bubba Rogers' bodyguard gimmick? I said, yeah. You want to try that? I was like, yeah, I'll try that. So I said, so you want me to, you know, get dressed up and look like Big Bubba did? He goes, yeah, but put your own little twist to it. I was like, okay, bet. So what I did is I went back home, looked at Big Bubba Rogers, looked at him when he walked to the ring and what he did once he got to the ring, you know, what he took off. Okay, and I saw he took off his hat, took off his shades, took off his jacket, didn't have no gloves on. So every now and then he took his tie off. And I was like, okay, so I can't do what he's doing. I gotta figure out a way to leave the shades on. See, I was like, if I'm this big bad SOB bodyguard that Dusty want me to be, for it to get over, I got to figure out a way to leave the gloves on and leave the glasses on. I take the jacket off, and my hat. That's the only thing I'll take off. See, and so when Dusty told me to put my own twist to it, that's what I did. And he's the one that let me create Mr. Hughes. See, because I asked him. I said, so. Well, what kind of name should I have? He goes, come up with a name. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it sounds. And when he told me that, I was like, shit, that's a no-brainer. Because I was like, you got Mr. T. I said, how Mr. Hughes sound? So I went to him. I said, how Mr. Hughes sound? And Dusty goes, that's perfect. We'll use that. And that's how I ended up with you. And it's my real last name, by the way, you know. And so it all worked out great. When Dusty, you know, let me put my own twist to it, and I went out there and I left my shades on, and people was like, how in the hell does he keep those shades on? It just made the character more badder, you might say.
What was the secret to keeping the shades on?
Well, first of all, I had to figure out how to keep them on, and I tried the sports strap, you know, the strap the baseball players use. You put the sports strap on so your glasses don't fall off. Well, I tried that, but it wasn't tight enough. Every time I take a big backdrop, they'd fly off, you know, kind of hurt my gimmick. So I was like, damn it, I can't use that. And I used to use electrical tape to tape my wrist, to tape my socks, keep my socks up. And I noticed that electrical tape stretches, see? And I was like, wait a minute, let me try this electrical tape. So what I ended up doing was I took a strip off and I put it here. Then I took the glasses off and then put a strip on the inside so the sticker wouldn't pull my hair, and then tape the ends of the glasses here. Tape the ends there, right? And went out there and tried it, and it worked. But I had another problem, see? The other problem was they would fog up really bad. I was about 390 then, and I sweated like a freaking Hebrew slave. Hear me? And so they would get so foggy, I couldn't see a bloody thing. I'm trying to look up on them just so I could see the freaking rope, man. It was crazy. So in my car, I had bought this Cadillac, this blue Brougham Cadillac from Pee Wee Anderson, Lord. I said, so he was a referee at the time. He was selling this Cadillac. Now, when I came to Atlanta, I didn't have no car. See? So when I'd come, I'd get a rent-a-car. But he was selling this car for like $1,200. I said, yeah, I'll buy it. Best investment ever made. And so in that car in Atlanta, it gets hot as hell in the summertime. And sometimes early in the morning, when you go start the car up, the window would be fogged up, see? And you have to wait for the defog to kick on and the motor to warm up so you can clear the window up. Well, I went to the auto parts store. They had some defogger in there. So I would rub it on the window so that problem went away. Well, one day I was telling you that my glasses was fogging up in the ring. I'm hot as hell. And a big old light bulb went off in my head. I got some defogger in the trunk. Hell, let me see if that'll work. So one day when we was going to center stage, I went in the trunk to get the defogger, had some wipes, see? And I wiped the glasses on the inside and the outside, And I put them on and had a match, and they did not fog up. And it worked out great.
Now, when you were working with Lex Luger, did you ever have any issues with him? Because he's self-admitted.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I had one issue, and that, remember I told you when I came to Atlanta, they brung me in to have torture rack matches with Lex Luger all over the country. And our first torture rack match, I can't remember what town or city we was in. I can't remember. I think it was Virginia, somewhere like that. I think it was somewhere in Richmond, I think. But this is the very first night that we were going to work our torture rack match. Well, my thing was I did punches and I did headbutts and I did drop kicks. Okay? That was a couple of my main things that I did. Well, when I'm doing all this, he was not selling anything. I'm going, what the hell? I'm telling the ref, I take a powder and I go, yeah, ref, come here, man. Tell Luger, start selling. I'm freaking leaving. You're going to count me out. I'm not going to sit up here and waste my damn time. They brung me in here to get this guy over so we can make some freaking money together, right? And so we have the match. I come back in. We finish the freaking match. I'm 38 hot. I go to the dressing room. I'm waiting for him back there. I'm pacing back and forth because I'm hotter than a freaking firecracker. Finally, he comes through the freaking curtain, walks around the concourse there and down the dressing room area. And I confront him, man, what's going on, man? What the hell's the problem, dude? You wasn't selling none of my stuff. I said, they brought me here to work with you. If you don't sell my stuff, they're going to kill the angle. Then we ain't gonna have nothing to do, right? This is my first run here. I don't want to freaking lose my job. I mean, I'm on it, okay? I mean, I'm going like this, man, like, if you want to go at it, we can go at it. Hot damn it. They brought me. I got a family to feed too, by God. And that's all I needed to do. Because after that, the next night and night after that, and so forth and so on, we didn't have no more trouble, no more. That was the end of that. Because I believe all I had to do was confront him, and that solved the problem.
And you also did a little thing with the York Foundation. How was working with them? I think Terry Runnels was the manager at that time.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. I mean, I got a couple of shoot stories on that subject. Because I used to walk out there with Terry and Terrence Taylor, Ricky Morton, and. For example, I'd say if Terry Taylor was wrestling, I'd go out there with those two, and then I'd stand down on the floor with Terry. Well, I was a big guy back then, and I used to drive everywhere. I wanted to see the country. I had stacks of freaking plane tickets because I wanted to drive everywhere because I wanted to see the country. Being from Kansas, right? I ain't never been nowhere. Okay, so once I got to Atlanta and we was down south, I was like, man, I'm gonna see everything I can, because we would go from Atlanta to Florida to Alabama to Tennessee to Kentucky to Carolina to Virginia. I mean, we went all the way up and down, okay? And I wanted to see the country. And I used to drive everywhere, right? On top of that, I was so big, I had sleep apnea really bad. And back then, I didn't have one of them gimmicks you put on to sleep with. Didn't have one. So I dozed off. I mean, I remember in the Meadowlands, me and Luger was taking on, I was going against Luger in a football helmet match. Sting in the dressing room, calling the finish. I dozed off on him. It was funny as hell, But we went to the ring one night, New York Foundation. I'm standing there now. I didn't drove all night long, just drove, and had this show that night. So I'm pretty tired. So I got the shades on and I'm standing there behind Alexander York, and I dozed off standing behind her. She hears me snoring, so she gives me the little sabadar with the elbow there. It's kind of funny, actually. She tells the story too, but it's a shoot. That's how tired I was because of the sleep apnea I had, because I was over 300 something pounds, damn near 400 big ones. You know what I mean? But riding Terry Taylor, us riding together, riding up and down the highway, it was great time. That's something I'll never forget. It's great to work with different people and ride with different people. You get to know one another better. You get to see them as a person instead of just a character that you work with, And so that was fun, working with Terry and Ricky Morton and Terry Taylor. It was great. York Foundation. I loved it.
There's a fan that wanted to know about your casket match against Salem Sinner 6 at Super Brawl 4, and who was Salem Sinner 6?
I don't. Who in the hell was that guy? I don't remember who that was. What was that? You said he was some 6 guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember who he was, because that's the first time I ever met him. But it was fun. I mean, it wasn't like me and the Undertaker, but it was. I wasn't getting in the box. I'll tell you that, because I tell you, man, I was leery when me and Undertaker used to go around the country doing casket matches, and that was a real casket. It had all the lining of everything, and so my job was to get put in the box. Okay, now Undertaker, I'd throw him in there, but he'd do the gimmick and choke you and come out, and the fans would go nuts. Man, let me tell you something. That was the ultimate rush. I'm talking, just imagine 20,000 freaking people. Main event freaking casket match, okay? I'm telling people, I'm doing this, brother. It's hard. It was like a dream, okay? Just a dream and I thank Vince for giving me the opportunity to wrestle that dude, man, because he trusted me. You understand? He put me in front of the line of all these other stars that was waiting to work Undertaker. He took me from way back here and put me, boom, right there, and say, you are going to work the Undertaker, and you are going to be the first one to steal his urn. He ain't going to wake up. He is going to lay down there, him and Paul Bear, and they're not going to rise up. And you're going to go around the country, and you're going to have torture rack matches. I didn't care about doing job for that dude. I was so happy to be in the freaking main event with him, selling out the building. And that's the greatest thing about being a professional wrestler. When you get to that level and you can sell out a freaking 20,000 seater, brother, you've arrived.
How did you like being switched to a babyface towards the end of your WCW run?
I hated it. Here's the deal on that subject. As you know, I came in as Big Cat. Ole had the book. When Ole lost the book, Dusty came in with the book, changed the gimmick to the Bodyguard. I came up with the name, ran with it, got to push as Mr. Hughes, the Bodyguard, right? Well, towards the end of my contract, they wanted to find a way to get me to quit. So what they did was they said, hey, man, we're going to turn you back babyface to Big Cat, and you're going to do an angle with Junkyard Dog, and he's going to headbutt your glasses, and they're going to break, and we're going to turn you babyface. I'm going like, say what? And so I guess they was trying to get me to say, no, I'm good. I'm going to go on home. Thank you very much. But that wasn't the case with me, because I was like, I need all them checks. You feel me? I need that money coming in. I got babies to feed. And so I didn't quit. And so I went ahead and let them go ahead and change me back to Big Cat and Babyface. Didn't work out. I hated it. And so eventually my contract ran out. Boom. Then I left and went all over the country and all over the world and made a living, and then eventually went to WWF. But when they tried to get me to go back to Big Cat, I already knew, man. I was like, my run's over here, because why would you switch a guy back to something that he was okay at, but he got over as Mr. Hughes, though, the Bodyguard. So why would you take the Bodyguard that got over back to Big Cat? You know, that didn't make no damn sense. So basically what I did was I was like, well, let me just go ahead and finish till my contract runs out, and then I'll just go on somewhere else. And that's what happened.
How was the Junkyard Dog in those days?
He was a good guy, man. We used to go fishing. Me, him, and Ron Simmons. We used to go fishing all the time and hang out on the bank and drink and do drugs and catch fishing. Go fishing, see. But he was a nice dude. I learned a lot from Dog, man. He was a good guy, man. And he left too early, man. And I kind of miss him, because we was good. We was pretty close. He taught me a lot about the business. Told me a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of things that another black man should tell another black man about the business. And him and Ron told me about it and smartened me up. And I'm glad they did. And so, you know, I do that. I did that to my students as well. So it all worked out pretty good.
How was working with Vader in WCW?
Well, working wise, it was all right. But when they put me and him together as a tag, okay, one night, matter of fact, this is on the internet. One night it was on TV, Clash of the Champions. We were working the Steiner Brothers in Topeka, Kansas. Look it up. It's on YouTube. And I already knew that I was the one that's supposed to do the jizz-op, see? But through the course of this match, we're at the beginning, we're tagging in and out, see? Like you're supposed to. But as time went on, he was hogging more and more of the match. And I'm going like, come on, you know, I'm going to put my hand out. He act like he don't see me. He in there trying to get himself over, see? He in there getting his stuff in, doing all his stuff, right? I'm going like, wait a minute, we're heels here. We're tag team heels here. We're supposed to get heat together. You understand? And so, you know, finally he tags me in when it's time to freaking make the comeback, right? The finish was the freaking bulldog off the freaking top turnbuckle. That was the finish. 1, 2, 3. But we're supposed to tag in and out to get the heat on Scotty. See? And Ricky was supposed to come in and make the comeback, see? But he wasn't tagging in and out like he's supposed to. He was trying to get himself over. Remember, this is a TV show now. Clash of the Champions. Okay? A lot of folks was watching that back then. And so finally he tags me in for the freaking comeback. I'm pissed off. I'm going, hot damn it. And I just going on with it, because we got to keep going, because this is a live TV show, see? Finally, Bulldog, 1, 2, 3, boom. I kick out on 3.5, right? And the Steiners roll out. So Vader, he wants to give me a high 10, see? After the match, I'm going, man, F you, man. I turn around and walk and leave and go to the dressing room. I get through the gorilla position. Good job, Big Cat, whatever. And I'm waiting for him in the concourse there because that's like, hot damn it, I got some words for this big fella. So I'm waiting for him. I'm pacing back and forth. Everybody's going, "What's up, cat?" I'm going, "Man, leave me alone." So finally, he comes through the curtain. He comes back to where the dressing room area was. And I confront him, "Man, what the hell's going on, man? You didn't tag me in until it was time for the comeback and go home, hot damn it. What the hell's the problem?" He goes, "What's the mean, brother?" I'm going, "Dude, we're a tag team here. You didn't tag me in and out like we were supposed to." I was getting loud too, boy. You could hear some of the boys coming out the dressing room, right? Looking like getting ready to do a pull apart, see? Because I came this close from throwing this right soup bone right in his freaking nose. That's how mad I was. And that was the first time we had an issue. And that was the last time we had an issue.
Did you ever have any issues with PN News? Because it seems like he wasn't too well liked back there.
No, I never had no issues. I remember having a match with him, and I know in the ring he was trying to not sell some stuff because he was trying to get over. See, when you don't sell, you're not going to get over. You have to sell when somebody's doing something that looks legit. Because if you're trying to so-called be strong, all you're doing is hurting yourself. See, so I wrestled him several times, by the way. But I remember one time we had a match, and he was trying to be a little more, how would you say, aggressive, so I wouldn't like job him out. Look, my thing wasn't jobbing people out, right? So if you were one of the stars, you got yours in. I'll let you get your stuff in, man. I'm not just gonna go out there and beat you up like Vader used to do. A lot of those freaking jobber guys hated working with him, man, because he'd hurt them. See, I mean, a lot of guys be looking at the TV sheet on the wall, going, "Let me see who am I working." Ha, damn it, I got Vader. Shoot, that's how bad it was. But they see Mr. Hughes. Damn, okay, that's an easy night because I would take care of the guys, man. These guys come here. They came in. They brung them in to make you look like a star, see? So it wasn't your job to kill them. It wasn't your job to hurt these people. They got families to feed too. So if somebody at home with a busted freaking quad or busted knee because you did something wrong to them, then they got to sit at home and they can't make no money, that ain't right, see? And Vader used to hurt them all the time. Guys did not want to work that dude, man.
When they brought you into WWE, was it always going to be to feud with The Undertaker? Was that the agreement that they brought you in for?
No, when I came in, I didn't know that I was going to run no angle with The Undertaker. Didn't know one bit. But when I came in, I know that when I had my tryout in Augusta, Georgia, Sarge called me when I was in Puerto Rico. I used to go up there for Carlos Colon on the weekends, come back Sunday. And one day I came back from a gig in Puerto Rico on my phone. The red light was flashing, the message light. So I picked the phone up and I hit 0 to call the front desk, seeing how I retrieved the message. She told me how to do it. I retrieved the message and it was Sergeant Slaughter. He goes, "Hey, Cat, Sarge here. Just calling to see when you're going to be available. I have a trial date for you. Get back with me." Left his number, called him back. So he gets on the phone. I get him on the phone. "Hey, how you doing, Sarge? I'm down here in Puerto Rico." "Hey, how long you going to be in Puerto Rico?" "Well, I'm leaving tomorrow." "All right, well, we got a gig for you in Augusta." I forgot what date it was. "Bring your stuff. Bring your gear. Vince want to take a look at you." I had already been to WCW. I had already, been to Puerto Rico. I hadn't been around. Went to Japan. I was all over the place. And so I said, "All right, bet. Thank you very much. Appreciate the call." The date comes. I pack my bag, head on down to Augusta. I get to the building. J.J. Dillon was the booker at the time, so I found him. And, "Hey, how you doing, J.J.? Vince wants to talk to you. He's in the office over there." They had offices in all the arenas that they run. They have an office for Vince they set up. So I go in there and I talk to him. "All right, yeah, we're going to do you first. We're going to check you out, see what you can do. And and then we'll get back with you. So I went in and got dressed, put my Mr. Hughes thing on. Now, here's the funny part about this situation. I'm in the dressing room getting dressed, and they had all the big time stars there back then. It was back in '93. So you already know who was there if you're familiar. So while I'm in the dressing room and I'm getting dressed, and everybody's in the dressing room, and people I ride with and people I talk to, and I say, man, this is my first tryout. What I need to do out there to get a job, to get the gig, what I need to do. These guys says, well, Curtis, you know what you're going to have to do is go out there and sell for the jobber and bump for the jobber and make him look good. I'm sitting there going, saying to myself, do I look like a damn fool? They called me, hot damn it. They called me to come check me out. Why would I go out there and kill myself? Ain't that damn dumb, right? So I get dressed. I have my first match. It was a enhancement guy. He comes to me respectful. Mr. Hughes, what would you like to do? I was like, well, just listen to me. We'll take it from there. I don't want to tell you a bunch of things, but my finish is the sidewalk slam. I came up with the name and everything. Way back then, of course, they try to use it and call it side slam, but it's sidewalk slam. That's Mr. Hughes' finish. I came with the name and the way you do it. So whenever you hear them calling it on TV and it's a side slam, they call it sidewalk slam. That is not a sidewalk slam. Sidewalk slam is what Mr. Hughes created, and that's what I do as a finish. But anyway, I went out, had the match, did my thing, gave the guy power slams, drop kicks, head butts, punches. I did everything. Big man stuff was impressive. 1, 2, 3, went home. Went back through the curtain. They said, yeah, go get dressed. Vince wants to talk to you. Went to the dressing room, took off my clothes, put on my street clothes, my civilian clothes, went in the office, met with Vince. He loved what he saw. He goes, Curtis, go back in there, put on your gear back on. We're going to do your first TV taping tonight. We already got one. We taped it that one. So we're going to do 3 more so we can hurry up and get you rolling. We're going to do some business with you. We're going to hire you. I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. Right? So I went and got dressed, came back in, went and got dressed. And I was like telling the guys, I was like, so what does it mean when Vince said you come back in here and get dressed, you're going to do your first TV taping tonight? So you think I actually did the right thing to get the gig? The freaking dress room was silent. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, they got me in, started just feeding me people, just feeding me jobbers, just getting me hurry up and get called up to the TV. See, that's how they did it. They wanted to hurry up and introduce you to the TV crew, the country. You understand? That's how WWF do it. They just shove you down people's throats, Mr. Hughes, Mr. Hughes, Mr. Hughes. And then after that, Undertaker was working, Elegante, just different people. But it wasn't getting over. See, he wasn't drawing no money. So Vince was like, man, we need to find somebody else to work with freaking Undertaker because Elegante is not getting over. The people are not buying it. So I guess he went through whatever and saw my character and what I was doing and said, wait a minute. We got somebody for the Undertaker. We got Mr. Hughes over here. And I didn't know it at the time until the day of the TV taping that Vince said, Curtis, come here. I want to talk to you in the office over here. So I went in the office. I was like, God damn it, man. I hope he ain't letting me go, man. It always goes through your mind when you've been in the business, you know what I'm saying? You butt old pucker and you don't know what's going to happen. So he goes, here's what's going to happen tonight. And this never happened. He goes, I believe you're ready for the next level. I believe you're ready for this situation. Tonight, you're going to go out there. Undertaker's going to be in the ring with Elegante. That gig is not getting over. So what's going to happen is you're going to walk out there. Paul Bearer is going to be in the middle of the ring. You're going to slip in the ring. He's going to be looking at Undertaker and Elegante in the corner. You're going to come in, tap Paul Bearer on the shoulder. He's going to turn around, startles him. He's going to drop the urn. You're going to sidewalk slam Paul Bearer. After you sidewalk slam Paul Bearer, you're going to take the urn and you're going to beat the hell out of the Undertaker with it. And he's not going to rise up, and you're going to walk off into the sunset with that urn. That's how he put it. And I'm sitting there going, you remember that show, Love American Style? You see all the balloons and the stuff popping and everything. I'm sitting there waiting for all that stuff to go off like this is a freaking rib. I'm going, this has got to be a damn rib here. But no, it wasn't a rib. And so I'm telling you, this is God's honest truth. From the time that I was getting ready to walk out to that ring, I was so nervous. And as I'm walking out, I thank God I had the shades on because you can see fear in my eyes, man. That's how nervous I was. So when I walked down to the ring and I jumped up in that ring, brother, and touched freaking Paul Bearer, it was a done deal after that. I felt so much confidence after that, and everything happened. It's that way.
Now, when they brought you back in later years, I think 97 to Bodyguard Triple H, why was that run so short-lived?
Well, what happened with that is, what happened with that run? Did I get hurt?
That's when they introduced China, it seemed.
Yeah, what happened is I got hurt. And I had to go home, man. I was hurt. I was hurt really bad, and I couldn't work. So they pretty much had to cover it and put China in that spot. That's what happened. Each time I was there, either some kind of injury happened, man. And the first time they said the first time I was there, they said I flunked the drug test. See, the first time I was there, which I know because I wasn't doing anything. But here's the deal. Remember I told you earlier that before I got there, you got people in line to fight the Undertaker. You follow me? You got all these stars in line to get their shot at the Undertaker to make some money. So what ended up happening is Vince took me, this young cat, from way back yonder and put me way in front of everybody else, see, in the line. So there was a lot of haters, a lot of freaking haters. So when I got that gig, some people were pissed. It's like, "God damn it, how does Negro get this spot? I've been here longer than he has. I didn't sacrifice all the stuff that he has. What the hell is this?" So there was people mad about that situation. I don't know how long you've been around the business, brother, but this is a cutthroat business. And if you're not down with smartness, you ain't going to last. You ain't going to make it. And so with me, on the road, I picked up this freaking rat one night, right? Fell asleep with the broad in the room. And she took all my cash. So I didn't have no money. So I either had to get a draw, which I had already got one the night before. So I couldn't get no more draws to the night after that. So I was out of money. So she cleaned me out, brother. I didn't have a dime, man. And so I'm going around knocking on people's doors that I thought I could trust. "Hey, man, can you loan me $50 till I get a draw? Hey, man, can you loan me $50 till I get a draw?" Well, when I did that, the haters had something to throw at Vince to say, "Hey, Mr. Hughes was going around knocking on doors trying to get money for drugs last night." And so when I was at WCW, everybody partied, man. Everybody did drugs. Everybody drank. Everybody did everything. So what they tried to do was say, well, Mr. Hughes, when he was in the WCW, he had a drug problem. And so when he came, before I got the job at WWF, Vince asked me that, "Hey, man, you still on drugs?" "What? What the hell would I come here for and be on drugs, man? I'm making all this damn money. Do I look like a dummy?" Right? So I'm riding with the Hart brothers, Brett and Owen. I'm on a loop with them. And we're on the California loop, right? And so we riding down the highway heading to the building, right? We get to the building, we pull in, get our bags, walk up around the ramp to the concourse there. And I noticed once we got up to the top, there's a guy standing there in a butcher jacket. The hell? The hell going on? Guy standing up there in a butcher jacket, and then Blackjack. I can't remember. I know it's Blackjack. I forgot his damn other.
I don't know if it was Mulligan or Lanza.
Yeah. What was his name again?
Mulligan or Lanza?
Lanza, that's it. Blackjack. Yeah, that one. Anyway, he goes, "Hey, Curtis, they want to see you in the other room." Right? I said, "All right, let me put my bag in the dressing room. I'll be there in a minute." So I take my bag in the dressing room and I go into the room where all the guys in there with the butcher jackets, right? And yeah, what's up? They go, "Yeah, Vince wants you to, piss in one of them cups right there." I'm saying, "Huh? What the hell are you talking about?" I thought it was a freaking rib. "Yeah, Vince wants you to piss in one of them cups right there because they think you're doing drugs." I'm going like, how in the hell they think that? So anyway, Brett and Owen are at the door and they're waving at me. "Hey, Cat, come here." Right? I'm doing like this to the butcher guy jacket. And they go, "Hey, Kurt," they put me out in the hall and they go, "Listen, Cat, man, if I was you, I wouldn't take that test. If they ain't gonna make us all take it." I'm going like, "Wait a minute, hold it now. If I don't do it, they're gonna think I'm freaking guilty." I was like, no, I ain't did nothing. I've been with y'all. I ain't did a damn thing. So I went in there and pissed in the cup, right? That same night, now me and Undertaker in the main event in a casket match in the main event. So we're in Anaheim, California. We had one more show on the loop. Then we can go home, right? So I go in there and I piss in the cup. And then Blackjack comes to me and he goes, "Vince wants you to, after the match, wants you to go ahead and take a red eye home. He'll call you in the morning." I'm going, "What the hell y'all talking about? What about the test, though?" I y'all tested it, didn't you? It was pretty clean, wasn't it? "Well, we don't know that, but Vince wants you to go ahead and catch a red eye. They're gonna cover it, and he's gonna call you in the morning." I had to earn, mind you. So I said, "Hot damn it!" So I get done. A runner takes me to the airport. I get on a plane, go home. I'm sitting there, man, and I'm sitting there I did not sleep a wink at all that night because I'm like, "God, man, what the hell is going on here? Why home for? I didn't do anything." Remember I told you that they took me from way back yonder and put me in front of everybody else? Was some people pissed about that, and they were trying to get me out of there. And so they knew that Vince did not like headaches. He did not like drama. He did not like none of that stuff. So when he got stooges, that's what happened. It was stooges lying like they always did in the business, calling the boss up, telling them a bunch of bull crap that wasn't true. And you got guys pissed off because they're not in the main event with the big dog. But I was. They had to get me out of there so they can get spot. And that's what freaking happened, man. And so I went home. The next day, he told me what time to call. I called the secretary, answered, "Hang on for Vince." Vince gets on the phone. "How you doing, Curtis?" Blase, blah, 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 blah. "We're going to hold off on you for right now. But we're going to, wait about 6 months. And if everything's good, we'll get back in the game. But in the meantime, if you got that urn, I need you to call Brian Clark up so he can give me that urn." And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, hold it. Wait, whoa. What are you trying to say here? Hold it. I ain't getting fired, am I? I didn't lose my gig, did I? Oh, yeah. He was like, "Well, right now we're just going to hold off on you for a minute until things get cleared up." I'm going like, wait, oh, man, no. God damn it. That was a bad day right there. And all that stuff that Dog and Ron and Rufus R. Jones and Butch Reed was telling me was really starting to come to happen, man. I mean, because they told me, be careful. Be careful. The business ain't what you think it is. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, damn, that's what they were talking about. Okay. All right. And then that was the end of that first run right there.
When they brought you back with Jericho in later years, how did that whole situation come about?
Well, when I was at the time, it was in '99, so I came up with this gimmick. this girl I was dating, she had a good job and she invested in this character that I was putting together called Millennium Man. And she had paid for the outfit, the whole 9 yards. I'm talking, we had shades, we had bandanas, we had wristbands, we had T-shirts, we had everything Millennium Man, Mr. Hughes on it. And I was putting that Millennium Man thing together because the Millennium was getting ready to kick in, see? And I noticed, and she went and got a patent on it, on the Millennium Man, Mr. Hughes. So when I was watching TV one day and they had Sid Vicious, they was calling him Millennium Man. And she called the office with the lawyer, and so they had to stop calling him that because she said, "Yeah, I got the patent on that. You can't use that." And they stopped calling him Millennium Man. That's why they didn't call Jericho Millennium Man. They called him Y2J because I had sent them a package. See, I sent them a WWF package with the Millennium Man character, and along with the patent and everything. And so that's why they didn't call Jericho the Millennium Man. They called him Y2J. See, because I had the Duke on the Millennium Man name. Anyway, I had sent him a package. I had started working out. I had got all that fat cut off. I mean, I looked like I was all juiced up, but I wasn't on anything. It was weights, Stairmaster, and good eating, right? And steam room. I did all that to get all that fat off and turned it into muscle. So I started working out and got in shape, and I sent them the package. And once they got I FedExed it to them because I wanted them to get it next day. And Bruce Pritchard, he's the one that I was working through, I was dealing with. And I sent him the package. He gets back with me. Back then, they didn't have cell phones, had a beeper. So they beep the number and you go down to the telephone and call them back. So anyway, I put my beeper number in the package so he can reach me. So I sent him the package, Millennium Man, and he gets back with me. And the first thing he asked me when I got on the phone with him, he goes, "Curtis, are you on anything you on any juice?" I was like, "Oh, no. I'm not on anything, brother. That was hard work I did. I went from a big old 390-something pound dude to 260 ripped to shreds." You feel me? And that was from a lot of hard work in the gym. I hit that gym harder than I ever hit in my life because I wanted another run in the WWF. And so they say, "Hey, we like what we see. Boom, we're gonna do some business. We need you to go get from your doctor. We need you to go get blood tested, drug tested, every test you can imagine. We need you to get it." They apparently didn't believe me what I was saying on the phone, that I wasn't on no damn juice. So I went and got a physical through my doctor. He did all the paperwork, blood work, you name it. Sent it up there to him, to Connecticut. They got the package, didn't like it. So what they ended up doing was they flew me in to Connecticut to see their doctor, to get the physical with their doctor, do the blood work through their doctor, the whole 9 yards. When they did all that and realized, yeah, he wasn't lying. Yeah, okay. So boom, project right to the freaking Vince's office to talk about the deal. And so I was there for a whole week. They had me going over to the gym where Tom was the trainer at the time, Tom Pritchard. He was a trainer at the time. And they had me going over there and working with the posse. That was Shane McMahon's old buddies back in the day. The posse, I forgot their freaking other names, but they were there. And I was training with them, see. And this is the third time that I'm going to be at the WWF. And so when I'm in the ring training with these guys, Tom was like, "Whoa, stop, Curtis. Hey, brother, you're a great worker, but they need you to pick up the pace a little bit." Okay. Before I was doing all that methodical beating and methodical slamming and all this punching, they go, pick the pace up a little bit. That's what they want you to, pick it up a little bit. I said, "Oh, that's no problem." So I picked it up a little bit. Boom. That was the end of that deal. And went over to the office to talk to Vince and JR. And they said, "Yeah, we want to do some business." And I got the gig. Now, once I got the gig, and I'm saying, so what they're going to do? They're going to use the Millennium Man, or what they're going to do? So anyway, we get to the first TV taping, and I'm figuring out what the hell. What am I? You want me to be the Mr. Hughes gimmick? What y'all want me to do? They go, well, we're gonna put you with Jericho. You're gonna be his bodyguard. I'm going like, oh damn, okay, all right, that's a gig. And so instead of me, I was like, so what do you want me to wear? You want me to wear the suit and the tie, or? And I was like, they go, well, ask Jericho. They said they go ask Jericho. So I was like, hey Jericho, what you prefer, bro? You got another one of those? I said, if you got an extra shirt, man, I can wear one. I can cut the sleeves off, and I can just walk out there as your bodyguard, looking like you with the shirt, like the same shirt. He goes, yeah, you can have this one, the one he used to wear when he first started, the one with the silver one. That's the one he gave me. So I went to the seamstress there, the ladies with the sewing machines, and said, could y'all take the sleeves off and take it up so it can look good? And that's what they did. And so when they stuck me with Jericho, they said, oh, yeah, we're going to use Curtis Hughes instead of Mr. Hughes. Still the same freaking guy. I just don't have no suit on. Still got the shades on, though, because the shades were the gimmick, right? So when they stuck me with Jericho, it was fine. I mean, he was one of the stars. Each time they put me with somebody, they put me with somebody that was over, which was great because, the paychecks were great. They always put me with somebody good, even when they stuck me with Triple H, he was working with the top dogs too. And Jericho as well. He was working with the top dogs too. So everybody they put me with had opportunity to end up either beating them up or jumping them like The Rock. That was the closest I ever got to, having a match with him by going out there and jumping him for Y2J, and then he come in there and do the cleaning up. See, so the deal with Jericho, it was fun. It was cool, but I wish it would have lasted a little longer than it did.
And of course, you had a run in ECW as well as Shane Douglas's Bodyguard. Any memories of that?
Oh yeah, we had some fun, man. I tell you, ECW days back in the day. I remember when ECW first got off the ground. It was called Eastern Championship Wrestling. Paul Lee had called me one day, and I was going back and forth to Japan at the time. He called me and said, hey, Curtis, I'm putting together, he called me Big Cat. Hey, Cat, I'm putting together this company called Eastern Championship Wrestling out of Philly. And I'm looking for some guys, and you're one of the guys I want to be in the program. You interested? And I said, of course. Of course, we talked about some money. We got the money thing straight, and it was a done deal. I started going back and forth, and then eventually I got an apartment on top of what apartment I had in Atlanta. I got an apartment in Delaware, so I wouldn't have to get a hotel, see, when I came up for the TV tapings. And so I, got there and I started doing Mr. Hughes thing, and then Paul Lee wanted to put me with the champion. And so, since I was doing all this bodyguarding for these other guys, and it looked pretty good to put me with the champion. So he stuck me with Shane Douglas, and we had a good time together. We had a good time.
And since then, you've trained a lot of wrestlers as the captain.
Speaking of good time, your good time is up, Hannibal. You're right. This man has trained a bunch of wrestlers. I'll let you go on with that. But let's get the list of who this man's trained. Go for it.
Yeah, you get to that part yet?
Yeah, let's get to that part, Hannibal.
Okay, so on top of the wrestling, over the 30 years that I've been in the business, I've been training people over 19 years, okay? In Atlanta, Georgia, I started there. There's a variety of people in all the major companies that I've trained. I'm going to start with WWF, WWE, to some of you new folks that don't know about the business. In WWF right now, WWE, before Heath Slater left, he was one of the guys I trained. Up there now, you have Sam Shaw, he's in NXT. You got Antoine Brewer, he's a referee. You have, who else I got up there? I see Sam Shaw, Heath, Apollo Crews. course, he's wrestling big at WrestleMania, so I'm looking forward to that one. And then in the Impact, you have Kiera Hogan and Moose. And then in Ring of Honor, you have Jonathan Gresham. Did I say Kiera Hogan?
You did.
Okay. And then in AEW, there's I have, matter of fact, there's a couple guys up there, Baron Black and Prince Apollo, that are in AEW. So you know, and then you had Kenneth Johnson. He was in 205 Live. He was in that. And so, you know, I've trained thousands, but I'm naming the ones that are in the big time right now. There's quite a few, by the way. And I believe that as a trainer, I'm the best one that's out there today, bar none.
Very good. And before Nick shuts us down here, where can they contact you for training?
Well, if you want the best trainer in the business to teach you, now you heard me name all those stars that are in the wrestling business today. There's thousands and thousands that I've trained, because my whole objective is to teach, not steal people's money, not rob you. Teach you how to get a job in professional wrestling. It's a passion of mine, by the way. You can ask any one of my students about the way I teach. If you want Mr. Hughes to teach you, you can find me on Facebook. That's Curtis Hughes on Facebook, or Total Protection Mr. Hughes on Facebook, or Bodyguard Hughes on Instagram. I'm not hard to find, folks. So if you really want to be a professional wrestler and learn from the best, that's how you reach me. If you're serious, get at me. If you're not serious, don't waste my time, because I don't play games, period.
And speaking of wasting time, that's something that Hannibal is known for. Once again, you got to pay if you want to play Hannibal. Part 2 is going to cost you more. See you later.
All right. We're off.
Okay.